you have made the best decision today by joining our live broadcast. Why, you ask? Because we're going to be sharing some amazing information today that will help you change your future and your finances. So today we're going to learn a little bit something about the Section 12J fund. We've spoken about it quite a bit before, and you still have a lot of time to take advantage. So we want to make sure that you know everything you need to know. Now, especially if you have a company or if you're involved in a company that has some tax problems or you want to resolve your tax issues, then you need to listen up to this. So they always say part of being wealthy is making the money and keeping the money. Making the money is the easy part, but keeping the money, that's where the difficult part comes in. And this is where we are here to help you. So today, once again, we are joined by the CEO of Destinata Capital, Mr. Johannes Maria. Johannes, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Damien, thanks for having me.
Now, Johannes, for someone who might not know, or it may be the first time they're seeing one of our videos, can you tell us a little bit about what is a Section 12J investment?
Damien, it's an investment fund that allows the investors the unique advantage of getting 100% tax deduction on the amount invested. So that can be translated up to 45% in benefits, depending on what your tax rate is. So a very basic example, if I'm a taxpayer that invests R1 million and I am in the 45% tax bracket, that would put me in a position where I get a tax benefit equal to 450,000 Rand.
Now, Johannes, this is obviously open to individuals, trusts, and companies. So I think let's focus a little bit on the companies now. How can a company take advantage of this fund and use its benefits?
Okay, so any South African taxpayer can invest into an S12J fund, means trusts, individuals, and companies. Companies actually have the benefit that they have a higher threshold that they can invest per annum. Individuals and trusts are limited to 2.5 million Rand per annum, and a company is limited to 5 million Rand per annum that can be invested. And still 100% tax deduction on that.
Now, talking about the investment, can you tell us a little bit more about the advantages in terms of the now versus a long-term of their investment? Let's say they do the 5 million. Will that only count as a tax benefit now, or can they, stretch that benefit out for a couple of years?
So the benefit of being a legal entity, so whether it's a trust or a company, is the fact that you can carry assessed losses forward to future tax years. Unfortunately, that's not available to the individual, but it is for the legal entities. So in the case of a company, for example, let's say my company makes R1 million worth of taxable income per annum. What I can do then is I can make a 5 million Rand investment into a Section 12J company, for example. That will mean that I'm sitting with an assessed loss of 5 million Rand on my books. And then I can set off my future taxable incomes against that for however long it takes to work off the 5 million. So whether that takes 5 years, 10 years, or whatever the case may be, as long as my company stays active.
Now, Johannes, I imagine that based on the fact that there are so many different tax brackets, that the investment's not a one-size-fits-all sort of approach. So as an investor, either as a company, a trust, or an individual, how can they get more information to find out about how this can be tailored to their own needs and what they need to achieve with their taxes every year?
Now, I think it's very important to speak to a tax practitioner to understand the tax benefits properly. It is a specialized field. I would suggest that prospective investors make contact with us. Details are on the website, and request to have a consultation with one of our tax experts who can then show them tailor-made examples and potential solutions for them on a case-by-case basis. Because you're absolutely correct. I mean, we've got taxpayers with many different scenarios and positions that they're in. It is not a one-size-fits-all. It's best to speak to somebody who understands it completely.
Great stuff. And now, Johannes, tell us a little bit about the timelines. How long do we have as South Africans to invest in the Section 12J fund?
Not long at all. 30 June is the last day on which this tax benefit will be available. You can still invest after 30 June if you would like to do so, but the tax benefit would not be available to you. You would then essentially only be investing in a private equity firm for all practical purposes. Any capital invested on or before 30 June falls within the legislation, qualifies for the tax benefit, and will continue to be managed in line with S12J legislation going forward. So deal date on or before 30 June is critical. And that, for example, the company, I think, is a perfect example for something like this. If I, as an owner of a company, was planning to participate in S12J for the next, let's use the same example, for the next 5 years, I wanted to put in R1 million every year because that's what I knew my taxable income would be. It would make sense for me, if I've got the capital available, if I can get access to that capital, to do the investment prior to the sunset clause date, create that assessed loss, and then work, use that to set it off against future profits.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the time today, Johannes. Now, if you at home watching this want to be part of the inner circle and you want to find out more about how to manage your investments, how to invest in property, how to use trust in a specialized structure to make sure that your assets are safe, not just for now, but for your future generations, then you need to join our mailing list. It is the Wealth Masters Club. So you can visit us at www.wealthmastersclub.com and register over there. We'll post all the details in the description below, and we hope to see you at one of our future events. Bye-bye then.